What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip-hop. What's good, y'all? Sixth element of hip-hop here. I'm your host, Reno Noir. And man, do we have an interesting show today. Yes, it's Sunday. Our normal show is Saturday. But your boy was at the movies watching Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, what a film. If you haven't seen it yet, there's going to be lots of spoilers today. But it's most recommended film since Endgame, best Marvel project since Endgame, breaking all the records, all the world records, insane amounts of money coming in. What do they got? Like $1 billion already. It's nuts. 30 billion at the global, the franchise in itself. The movie itself, $438 million worldwide, $205 million domestic. It beats, the previous record holder, Deadpool, from 2016. So the superhero movies and comic book movies can't be rated R. Is a phrase that means nothing anymore. It's the exact opposite, in fact. Rated R superhero movies are the ticket, without question. It's been proven. I mean, this is just more evidence to that fact. But Disney's MCU right now, the Marvel Cinematic, has become the first film franchise in history to cross $30 billion at the global box office, which the achievement, was announced during the studio's Hall H presentation at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. So we're getting into that tonight. It's San Diego Comic-Con. It is Deadpool and Wolverine. It is Robert Downey Jr. is officially Dr. fucking Doom. Are you kidding me? Regardless of your feelings on that, we're going to get into that. Listen, Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest entry in the sprawling MCU series, and the trilogy has pushed the haul across the coveted milestone after scoring $96 million on opening day in North America, the biggest ever for an R-rated release and the sixth highest of all time. Now, that's not R-rated superhero movie. That's an R-rated movie, period. So this is, again, you combine comics, R-rated, platinum, fuck gold, it's diamond. It's poised to generate $195 million to the $205 million domestically and roughly $380 million to the $400 million globally through today, through Sunday, through today. And the MCU is one of the most prolific film franchises of all time. It's got 34 installments, 15 years long. It's a comic book empire. The comic book giants delivered an unprecedented string of blockbusters since the inception, with 2008's Iron Man, just epic, and to Avengers Endgame, Infinity War. Endgame, 2.799 billion. Infinity War, 2.05 billion. Just insane, and standing as two of the highest grossing movies ever of all time, not just comic, just movies, period. And then you start seeing even the absolute garbage movies, in my opinion. Eternals, 402 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, whether you hate it or love it, 476 million. And then the Marvels, 206 million would rank. I mean, these are all still victories for any other studio. Okay, any other studio is celebrating, popping bottles just going nuts over these numbers. But Marvel, those films cost $200 million or more, so they lost money for Disney in their theatrical runs. Other top earning franchises are like Sony's Spider-Man with 10.6 billion dollars across 10 films. Star Wars, obviously, $10.3 billion across 11 films. Harry Potter's up there with 9.6 billion across 11 films. Even James Bond is up in the running, 7.8 billion across all 25 films. So, all those franchises have a lot of legwork to do if they're going to catch up with Marvel's costumed superheroes, right? It's kid stuff, right? Sean Levy directed Deadpool and Wolverine, which unites Ryan Reynolds' snarky mercenary and Hugh Jackman's gruff, brooding mutant on a mission to save the Merc with a Mouth's home universe. Emma Corrin is as the great Cassandra Nova. What a fucking choice of a character to use. I mean, so cool, such a deep dive. What a cool character that most people don't even know about, but go learn about her. She's cool. Matthew McFadden is Mr. Paradox, which is just a great casting. That guy's hilarious. If you saw him on the show Succession. But Rob Delaney as Peter, hilarious. Leslie Uggams as the blind Al, round out the cast. So can't lose here. This was a absolute slam dunk for Marvel. Absolute slam dunk of a film. And it does a lot. It says a lot. It sets up Avengers Secret Wars in a way. We'll talk about that. And it says goodbye to 20th Century Fox, which was heartfelt and very touching. The after credits or during the credits actually didn't have a big, this movie, a lot of, I hear, and we know who's complaining, and it's so obvious. You're telling on yourselves, but the complaints are that this movie had no stakes. It wasn't, the plot was just poor, full of dick jokes. First of all, you don't understand Deadpool. That's exactly the point. You're exactly right. Yes, not really any serious stakes, not much of a plot to speak of, and loaded with dick jokes. Yep, pretty much. Check, check, check. I mean, that's it. And look at the numbers. So, yeah, you can complain about that all you want, but that's what comic books, I mean, that's what we want. That's, yeah, you want great plots and stakes when that character or that franchise calls for it, but you don't do whatever you want to these comic characters. You don't just, oh, well, that's not the formula of a movie, so we're going to change that entire, character and everything just to fit the formula to do. Okay, do that all you want, but you see the results. I mean, stick to the content, the source material. We can't say it enough. But Ryan Reynolds took to Instagram to bid a fond farewell to Deadpool's 20th Century Fox days, both the good and the bad, with the image of the July 2015 of the many of the people, who brought it to life. Reynolds shared a message on Instagram alongside the previously mentioned image saying he wouldn't trade those days for anything. He said this isn't just Deadpool saying, "Oh, hello to the MCU." Ryan Reynolds, he wrote, he said it's Deadpool and Hugh, Sean, and me saying farewell to a place and an era that literally made us. We are forever grateful to the fun, weird, uneven, and risky world of the 20th Century Fox. It was our origin story, and we wouldn't change it for anything. And thank you to Kevin Feige and Disney for allowing us to share it. I mean, just really touching, really heartwarming, just really a great, farewell. Let's see if you guys can check this out a little bit. I'm going to share something with you. Hold on, it's going to focus. There we go. This is my post on Instagram, by the way, so it's my own content. Yo, I'm gonna change the microphone to the camera.
Maybe it'll go better. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. And hello, Blanos. What you say? What you say? What you do? I'm good with RDJ being doomed, but there are other fans not feeling it. Yeah. I mean, oh, Sada. Yes. So sorry, sis. Let me get you a link. The link. Um, tell you the truth. Yeah. Let me get that to you. Hang on, guys. I'm just getting Sada a link so she can hop in here because I know she's got an opinion that we want to hear. Let me. Where the heck is it? Okay. Sent. So let me forward to Sata. Oh shoot! You know what? I've had you in a big group email for so long. I totally forgot your email address, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. This is totally my fault. Give me a second, guys. I swear to God, it's gonna take a second. Don't worry, Sata. Don't get to type it. I'm gonna find it. It's right here. Where the heck is it? The thing is I don't want to send the mass thing to every single person that I know because this is going to get too. Okay. All right. I take it back. You know what? I can't find it. I know it's in here. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Swear to God. All right. Dude, I'm sorry. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Forward. Sent. All right, guys. Sorry about that, man. I'm so sorry. Sada, there you go. Hop on in here. Hop on in here. Yeah, but yeah, that what you guys saw there just now. And yo, so the end to the Fox Mutant. Oh yeah, no, this is yes, definitely the end of the Fox Mutants. The yo, peace, salute. Yeah, the Fox Mutants, that whole thing. Fox had the rights to all the mutants. Marvel, Disney, when Disney bought Marvel, they had all the money. So they, once the contract, dates ran out, they bought it right back immediately, and rightly so, because, why would they leave their Marvel product in the hands of another company? Of course, they're going to get it back as soon as they were allowed, by law to do so. And all those characters, there's a lot of problems with those movies. Lots of problems with those movies from the comic fandom standpoint. So love them or hate them, and a lot of people do hate them. I have a great affinity for them because they were what they were, and at the time, that's what we had. But yeah, the images it was that we just kind of saw. You've got some, oh, who else? Who else? So we get a look at some of the cast of the X-Men films, also Fantastic Four, including Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Michael B. Jordan, Nicholas Hoult, Olivia Munn, Oscar Isaac. Channing Tatum comes in, drops in the movie. Guys, I should have started this thing out. Huge spoiler alert, guys, okay? And I told you guys already, if you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine and you don't want to know anything about it, just go ahead and save this one and watch it later. But spoiler alert. So as a lot of people remember, Disney completed its buyout of 21st Century Fox in 2019 for $71.3 billion, which brought X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and a lot of other, franchises under the Disney umbrella. Deadpool and Wolverine does poke fun at the 20th Century Fox characters, the whole thing, the franchise, and the MCU, all of that. Sada, what up? What up? Welcome. She's loading in. But yeah, while Deadpool and Wolverine does poke fun at that, it's important to remember a lot of jobs were lost in the transition. Oh, you know what else? You guys can't hear me. Can't really.
There we
There
go.
we go.
All right,
All right,
Sada, how
Sada,
you
how you
doing?
doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Pretty
Pretty
good.
good.
It's a
It's a
long
long
time.
time.
We got
We
an
got an
echo.
echo.
You
An
got a
echo? Hold
yeah,
on, let me.
couple speakers or something. There you go. Well, yeah. Once she gets that figured out,
Out.
check check.
Is there still an echo? Echo?
Echo.
Echo.
Yeah,
Still
big
Yeah, big
time.
time.
me? Oh, jeez. Okay.
Do you have any speakers on or anything?
Oh, I do have. Oh yeah, I have. Hold on, let me turn this
It's
down.
probably
How
just
about?
hearing me through your speaker. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. So
Is
yeah,
is it better now?
it's a
It's a
little
little
better.
better.
Oh,
It
okay.
still hears it. It still can hear it though. It's too
Okay,
loud.
hold on.
You're cool. But yeah, a lot of jobs were lost in that transition. And a lot of those, and many of those films, even if they aren't the most well regarded, and they're not, but they did lay the foundation, still echoing, for everything that we love about comic books and superhero movies. And in the reviews and stuff that I've heard for Deadpool, that everyone says it's an outrageous, consistently funny superhero comedy, succeeding largely thanks to the enthusiasm of the leads. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman really giving a great performance, really putting their all behind it, really feeling it, really loving what they're doing, and you could feel the love and the passion, and that they love the characters and their the content and everything, and you can feel that. And a surprising, classy perspective on the superhero movie history. And again, you know, to complain that this movie didn't have stakes or a plot and was full of dick jokes, you're clearly missing the point. That's the point. We know, like that's
Is
the
there
point.
still echo?
Check, check.
Check
Actually,
check.
no, nope.
Okay, great. I hit the thing where it cancels the echo, so I think that helped. I think that helped a lot.
That
Okay.
did it. Yep, that did it. So, have you gotten to see the movie?
I did. I saw it on opening day. I
Sweet,
thought it
sweet.
was like very entertaining, but
Mhm,
it like for me it was just kind of an empty movie. Like it didn't really I didn't take much from it. So there's that. But overall, I thought it was entertaining. I think if you go to see it like with friends, that you're gonna have a good time. But like,
yeah,
do I think it has rewatch value? No. But like I think for the moment, it's great. Yeah.
right. Right. I've heard that. I've definitely heard that that take. And it's a valid take, because if you don't have like for me, Wolverine, like I welled up, bro. I shed a fucking tear. When Wolverine put that mask on and started going berserker through I was like, oh, because you know how long I've been waiting for a
Oh
comic
yeah.
accurate Wolverine.
Yes.
And when he put the mask on, Hugh Jackman disappeared. I mean, completely disappeared. That was Wolverine. And for me, it was the first time I'd ever seen Wolverine in live action.
Yeah.
We've seen Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but for me to see a comic book accurate, feeling like I'm really seeing Wolverine, the Wolverine I grew up, the Wolverine in the comics and the cartoons, the toys, like the Wolverine character that I know, like for the first time, I'm really seeing him in live action. And it's not just the mask. He almost went CGI. Like I don't even know if that was like Hugh Jackman, right? It was like a
I
totally
know it looked kind
CGI.
of weird. I don't know
It
if it was really him. The CG
right.
did look kind of weird during those scenes, but like I don't know. It was still like an entertaining scene to watch. So I appreciated him putting on the cowl. It was on longer than I thought it would be. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I really expected like a maybe a put it on, maybe look around, haha, and then that would be it. But to see him go bananas and just go berserk with the mask on, that is something they did for us. They did that for the fans. It's, in this movie, yes, it's a fan service movie. It's not a plot driven film. It's not meant to elevate the storyline or do anything like that. It's just like fan service. It's like, hey, the MCU's still here. Everything you loved about it, we still know how to do it. This is not the MCU. This is really just the MCU at its best. And I mean at its best, because Deadpool is what Deadpool is. So for what it was the best
I
for
mean,
what
I
it was.
understand that.
Yeah.
I think it's still a missed opportunity that you know, it wasn't something where we could move the character of Deadpool forward or move even the character of Wolverine forward. I feel like, you know, they were just both stuck where they were, and like it doesn't really. It's funny. I mean, I realized early on like it didn't really involve any of the MCU outside of Loki, which was a choice. Well, the Loki TV show and the TVA. But I feel like it needed a little bit more. And I don't know. Like I think the only legs it has to stand on are the cameos. Like if we had focused more on, I feel, Deadpool and Wolverine, and not just them quipping back and forth, but actually have something a little deeper, then I think that would have been more enjoyable for me personally. But I understand where you're coming from. But I think for me, I needed a little more from the film.
Yeah. Guys, this is that scene real quick here. I'll show you guys.
Yeah, he was slashing and dashing.
I wish it would focus. Hold on. It's going to focus.
It's okay, guys. If not, it's definitely on YouTube, HD.
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely see it. But that's, you know, that's the scene we're talking about. He's just going nuts, slashing through all the other Deadpools. It's not going to focus. It's the only thing you got to look at, camera. Still focusing on the background. Eh? There we go.
My favorite part.
Yeah, see, that's where the CG looked really bizarre. I don't know why that's the case.
That definitely doesn't look like Hugh Jackman. That looks like this. I'm gonna put the video down. But just so satisfying to me. Like this is the Wolverine that I expected to see a scene like that in the very first ever X-Men movie that came out. When you know we first knew there was gonna be a live action Wolverine before anyone knew who Hugh Jackman was, before we saw the movie. This was like a scene that I imagined. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like that. And we got what we got. There was a cool scene where he did kind of, go through the forest, like slashing a few guys. And it was, I mean, we were going bananas in the theater, me and my crew, but it was not this. I mean, this just, like I said, this was everything, man. This was just, it's everything that I wanted it to be. And early on in Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the infamous fourth wall breaking quips. The Merc with the Mouth tells the legendary X-Man hero that's joining the long-running Marvel Cinematic Universe at a bit of a low point, which, to be honest, is an understatement. That it's not the best time for Marvel right now, and I love that they admitted that, and they made a point to let us know that they know that, so it's not that. So because honestly, I'm wondering all the time, like, do they know what they're doing? Like, are they paying attention to the fans? Are they only listening to a certain pocket of fans? Do they not have they realized what they've done? Like, and this movie just gives me it gives me hope. It makes me know they know what they did. It makes me know that they realize what they've done. Whether they do a huge 180 and fix it all and stop with the nonsense, that remains to be seen. But this tells me that there will be projects, at least, that I can look forward to, that I know that they still know how to do it. They still have the team and the people that can do it. Because you remember, I've said this back when you were on the show regularly, that, I didn't think, that I wanted the X-Men to be done by the current regime at Marvel. Like, I didn't want the MCU that had been making movies since Endgame, Eternals and Quantumania and just, Love and Thunder and the Marvels, just all that crap. Like, whoever was doing all that, I did not want them touching, my favorite characters.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. I think it's funny that they even called it out when, like, that entire movie to me was just an epitome of what Deadpool was parroting from the fans. Like, it was all multiversal stuff, which is, it's fine. I mean, you have your callbacks. But I don't think they really, like, that's all it was. And it's like, all right, that's cool. So we'll go somewhere with that, I suppose. But it's like, I think for this movie, the writing was still weak, even with all of the cameos and stuff, which for some of it I did enjoy. I think the writing was still weak. We still had a wasted villain. We still had a wasted female character. Like, all of this stuff was still there. Yes, I think Cassandra Nova was absolutely wasted. I think she was completely wasted.
She was
wasted.
phenomenal.
She died. She was wasted. All her entire thing was, okay, I want to destroy all of time and creation, but leave the void. Even though by doing said thing, the void will be gone. But okay, that's fine. But like,
she's an unhinged. She's not supposed to be a character that we follow. That's gonna be. She's unhinged. She's psychotic.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still a waste to just bring her in, and then her motivation to me was just weak, because it's like she was already happy with what she was doing in the void. She was happy there. So I don't understand why she had a desire to come and destroy. Now she wants to destroy all time and reality. Like, that's a huge jump from wanting to get revenge on Paradox for trying to kill her. I understand that. But I don't understand her then jumping to, okay, I want to destroy all time and space and reality except for the void. I think that was weak. And then she's dead now, so whatever. But as far as female characters, she's not the worst of the bunch, but she's still, to me, incredibly wasted. But I don't know.
I mean, I felt like she totally explained it. She had, first it was just revenge against Mr. Paradox, but she thought about all the power he had. She thought about what control he had. She thought about what he was doing, and she thought of, that then sparked a new idea in her. She's like, holy shit, I can just wipe everything out, make them all come here, be the ruler of every, just because she's building her empire. She's in the void, she's the king of the void, whatever, and she's like building an empire, and she's like amassing this fiefdom. And cool, she was happy with that. You're right, she was happy with that, living there, and she was fine. Finding out Paradox's plan is what sparked her idea to want to move on and do something bigger and utilize what he was doing, not let him do it. Fuck him, he's not going to do that and ruin and blow and destroy my shit. Fuck that, I'm going to take over and destroy his shit.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I think it's like, okay, so, but what is it that you would have left to go on and destroy all of time and reality? You have nothing left to go back to rule over. And so it's like, all right, I mean, I guess I felt like it was just kind of not necessarily out of nowhere, but I thought it was definitely bum rush, because it's like, okay. Like, I understand if she just wants to if she wants to destroy the TV, I would have even taken that. I mean, that's a threat. That's a threat. As far as, I guess, their importance within the MCU, but that's a threat. But like, all of time and reality, when it's like you just want to be a god over the void, which is that's where you started. I don't understand how that would have benefited her, really, because she was already ruling over the void with an iron fist. Everyone was already afraid of her. So
got to remember the psychopath angle. She's a sociopath. She's crazy. She's absolutely.
I know. I mean, I totally understand that. I really do. And it's like, you had that, though. She had all of that, all of her tendencies, all of her psychopathic nature. That reigns free. No one was checking for her in the void. No one was no one was puppeteering her in the void. It was all her until she found out, what's his name wanted to kill her.
Yeah. So I mean, she had to protect. But I feel your point. But ever since 2019's gender-defining Endgame, Avengers Endgame, Marvel has definitely been trying to like recreate that euphoric magic to no avail. But between the glut of the mediocre TV shows, the lackluster movie over the past 5 years, and now the bloated MCU is indeed at its lowest point. The franchise has exploded since they exploded onto the scene in 2008 with Iron Man. But with the savagely hilarious and violently kinetic Deadpool and Wolverine, this is Marvel's first R-rated movie for a reason. Marvel has once again caught lightning in a bottle. Love or hate the movie, understand the plot or not, delivering a cinematic experience on par with, you know, the very best in the MCU. This is the first time I've gone to a Marvel movie and felt anything but disdain. Like anytime, you know, I agree. This is not a plot heavy movie. There's no real stakes there, but that's also the point. It's not for that. And if you're looking for that, you're right. You're not gonna like this movie so much. You might appreciate it, but you got to understand for what it is. And
I
it's
mean,
not.
and I get that too, but it's like, if that's the case, then literally dive into that. Literally go balls to the wall. Because my thing is, when they tried to do the serious moments with Wade, all of a sudden he wants to be an Avenger. He wants to mean something. Why are we doing this? This doesn't mean anything. I
You want
like
to have something of substance, and then they give you that, and then now that you
that's
don't
not,
want.
but that's not substance though, because it wasn't done well. Like, it's if you want to tell me all of a sudden after 2 movies where that was never touched on, that he wants to matter now outside of being a killer. Okay, so let's do it well. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't happen. So if we're gonna like literally just turn our brains off, have a great time, then let's go balls to the wall. Don't give me interludes of Wade doing this because he wants to matter and he wants let's not do that. Like, let's not even waste time with that. If I'm gonna turn my brain off, I'm cool with that. Let's turn my brain off. But when you try to give me a little bit of something that's supposed to be substance and it's not there, then yeah, no, I'm gonna no. But that's just me. So yeah.
I feel you. But then I feel you're looking at basically a music video. Like, you need something. I mean, it's not gotta be. I mean, and there's not much to say about the plot, right, of this movie. But without giving too much away, the basics are simple enough. You know, for a franchise that leans heavily into its own multiverse. Anyway, it's 6 years after the events of Deadpool 2. You have Wade Wilson hung up, you know, his Deadpool costume and weapons, right? So many weapons, choosing to live a relatively quiet life with his loved ones. You know, you've got the, you know, vulgarity and insults thrown around and all that cool little, you know, funny little banter scene or whatever. But then the Time Variance Authority, an organization that monitors the timelines of the multiverse, decides to step in, you know, setting into motion the plot, and I use that word loosely, that pairs the two, you know, the 2 main guys together, Deadpool and Wolverine. And the synergy between them, honestly, it's something I'm surprised they haven't done before. It's something that absolutely works amazingly. You know, and even when they're, you know, berating each other and beating each other to a bloody pulp, I mean, that's the best part. Like, you know, and then going into the movie, there was a question of whether reviving Jackman's Wolverine would cheapen the Logan movie, you know, and, you know, which is the final chapter of the Wolverine trilogy, a pitch perfect send off for the sacrificial, you know, anti-hero. But thanks to the timeline shenanigans and you know, this is the multiverse saga after all, this movie does pay proper tribute, I felt, to Logan, you know, while creating a worthwhile new version of Wolverine, just as complex and 3-dimensional as the original, angry, quick to unsheath his adamantium claws, but broken, scarred. You know, he did something terrible. Something terrible happened in his universe. He, you know, is dealing with that, but then you see him for the first time donning the suit and saying that, you know, he's, you know, really feels like an X-Men now, and which is was kind of like a little, you know, wink to us, to the fans. I mean, and you know, I think that the movie does reveal in its, you know, admits the profanity and the jokes and all of that, you know, which are directed at Marvel and 20th Century Fox. But the movie truly comes to life when you know, the claws pop and the swords are swinging and the bullets are flying, and you know, we have these great scenes, and that is the best of the scene. Dope special effects. Loving Cassandra Nova, loving that they took a character that most people have never heard of and now will probably go research because of it. And it was a great little, you know, a great little nod to the character. It's not a character I would expect or think that they would turn into an ongoing character or something that would develop into anything bigger. It's too small of a character. Even in the comics, she doesn't have a lot of content. But you know, the best fight sequences in the MCU since the beautifully choreographed Captain America Civil War. The fights are gory, super over the top gory, which, you know, is, again, it's part of the joke. And, you know, but they're also mesmerizing to watch. You know, the two protagonists wreaking havoc on everybody in their way, just, you know, trying to right the wrongs of their past. You know, and you've got Madonna blasting in the background. It's hilarious. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine is mostly irreverent, much like the first two movies. But it doesn't, you know, shy away from the heavier topics of grief, regret, belonging, self-doubt, love. You know, that stuff is there. And Wade and Logan, I mean, like I said, I welled up, bro. I'm in the theater like damn near crying. This shit was beautiful to me. Wade and Logan experiencing great loss in their lives, and the scars, you know, are there, and they are phenomenal actors. Ryan Reynolds, you know, say what you want. He's goofy, he makes a lot of jokes, whatever. He's a phenomenal fucking actor. Hugh Jackman, obviously, actor. You know what I mean? In the end, the movie it's the ultimate love letter to Marvel fans. The cameos, the references are aplenty, but are brilliant. I think the source material is definitely treated with respect here for the first time in a long time. That's what really sort of makes me have reverence for this movie. It's not that I think it's a great film and a great story, and I can go, you know, rewatch it and find new aspects. I just think that it's beautiful that they finally gave us a movie where I can tell that they respected the source material. They're paying attention to where the comics, you know, it felt like a comic book in live action. That's all I want. That's all any comic fans want. We just want a comic book in live action. That's it. I mean, and we're happy. We're not hard to please, man. It's not complicated. Did you know who Lady Deadpool was?
Lady Deadpool, I knew briefly. I know that she's one of the Wilsons. Well, her name's Wanda Wilson. And I know it was. I don't know too much about her. I just know like the bare bones. I don't know why they made such a big deal out of her though. She didn't do anything but just fight and die and regenerate. So I don't. I guess because of is it Blake Lively or Taylor Swift? But yeah,
she looks cool.
Yeah, she looked great. They made a big deal out of her before the movie came out. And I was like, oh, okay. Like she was just, you know, there to fight. And that's fine. But like, I don't know why there was a big deal made.
It's because comic nerds are comic nerds, and Lady Deadpool's cool, and she looks cool, and it's something we'd never seen in a movie before. Oh shit. Look at those Uzis in the trailer. That's probably Lady Deadpool. And then the hype builds up, and it's like, yeah, and then you see her and she's like, she's awesome, and she just, you know, but yeah, no. I expected her to be more of like a sidekick in the movie. I did. I thought she'd be more there in the movie, which I think is what you're expecting.
Yeah, I would have liked that. I think if she were more a part, not necessarily, she didn't have to be there like half the movie, but like maybe in that, I don't know.
Like, there, like
yeah,
with Blade in them, that would have been great.
Right. Yeah, I think that would have been fine. I would have liked that.
But with going with their storyline of the you know the Deadpool clones, the many Deadpools of the multiverse attacking them, it made perfect sense for her to be the leader of that group, or the main one of that group, the most prominent of that group. So, you know, in that regard, it worked. But speaking of Gambit,
I will say he was my favorite. He was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Yeah, wow. That was very funny. He was hilarious. Yeah, great. I you know, because I know Channing Tatum's been trying to be that man for over a decade. Like, and I was like, okay, he got his wish, and it was funny as hell. I thought he was the funniest part of the movie for me. He was great.
Yeah. Thanks to the crazy, you know, styles of Ryan Reynolds and the director Sean Levy, bringing Channing Tatum in to be Gambit. You know, Tatum's Gambit finally making the MCU. Like you said, it's something that's been a talking point, or, you know, at least it's something people had thought about before. So it wasn't just out of nowhere. It was like, oh shit, they did it.
Oh yeah, they made references the whole time he was there. Like, yeah, you know, this is what could have been. Wink, 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 wink.
Right, and you know, giving him his comic accurate costume, for the first time, seeing that suit in real life. I wasn't a fan of the hair. I was like, it
Yeah,
was
not me neither. Yeah, no. It was
yeah,
something throwing me off, and I think I agree it was his hair.
the hair. It was the hair. Yeah, it was just too perfect, too smooth. It needed to be a little more.
I needed like long and like how they did it in I think Origins Wolverine when he was there briefly. Like I needed that long kind of rugged hair a bit. I think I needed that.
Yeah. And then uh Jennifer Garner as Elektra, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. Great nod. And obviously Wesley Snipes' Blade was really cool to see. And I love that they did intentionally put the gray in his beard and the gray in his hair so that nobody's like, oh, they're trying to make it the same Blade, but doesn't he look so much older? Ha ha ha. No, Blade ages. He's not a vampire that doesn't age.
Right.
So they made a point of showing you, no, he is older, and it's okay. And I love that. It was great. It was fucking fun.
The one thing that killed me was Johnny Storm being annihilated because I have a bias towards the Fantastic Four. So when he came on screen, I was like happy, and I knew it would be fleeting. I knew he would die, but like I was
Did
like,
you know?
no. Huh?
Did you know it was going to be Johnny and not Cap when you first saw Chris Evans?
Honestly, no. I thought it was Cap at first. And I was like, oh, he's kind of missing some things. And then when he said Flame On, I smiled so wide, I'm not going to hold you. But I was like, I know he's going to die. Like, there's no way Chris Evans is staying here for longer than 30 minutes and die. And I was like, oh, damn. But I mean, it was nice to see him again. I wish they would have just kind of let him live on for, I don't know, for whatever, but it was nice to see him for a brief moment.
Yeah, and but yeah, you're right though. Channing Tatum, Remy LeBeau, Gambit might have been an odd casting choice at first glance, but like you said, longtime Marvel buffs know that this character was years in the making. And after years in development, the project was ultimately shelved, and like the character was banished to the void.
I'm glad that actually didn't pan out. This movie helped confirm to me that did not need to pan out in the way that it did. So that's good.
Yes, that's true. Yes. And but yeah, I mean the cards looked great, the powers looked great, the staff, everything, they phenomenal. The trench coat looked great. Even the mask thing could have been good. Channing Tatum being the character though, it was a joke. It was funny. Like seeing him, it wasn't like you couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah, not at all. And I was okay with that because that was like a in joke that had been on for years. Like he'd been wanting, and the people were like, "Is this happening?" So I was okay with that. Like that was fine.
Yeah, exactly. And although Taylor Kitsch, played Gambit in X-Men or Origins Wolverine, the character was put on hold until Channing Tatum showed interest in bringing him to the big screen. And while he had the best intentions in the world, it was not meant to be. But
I think they should have stuck with Taylor. I didn't think he was bad as Gambit at all. But I like him bringing him back, or Channing Tatum, not bringing him back, but bringing in Channing Tatum. It was for the laughs. I get it. But like in the future, if they want to do something, no, don't bring Taylor Kitsch back. I mean, I think the time has passed. But like do someone else. But like be inspired by Taylor Kitsch.
And still do Gambit. We still need Gambit. He's a character we need. But there's an article in Time magazine that perfectly summarizes why we never got our Gambit movie. It says, coming off the success of 21 Jump Street, Tatum was determined to make a Gambit solo flick, and in 2014, 20th Century Fox officially greenlit the film. Tatum then spent years in development hell. Several directors, including Gore Verbinski, who did Pirates of the Caribbean, Doug Lineman, who did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they joined and then departed the production. Hot Fuzz director Edgar Wright recently revealed in an interview with Slash Film that X-Men producer Simon Kinberg offered him the Gambit movie, and he turned it down. Tatum was even proposed that he could co-direct with producing partner Reed Carolyn. He said the studio really didn't want us to direct it. Tatum told Variety they wanted anybody but us, essentially because we had never directed anything, which is a good reason. But yeah, there's no denying that Tatum was absolutely sold on bringing the idea to the big screen, but it just took longer than we expected and came you know, in a different way, but we still got it. It still happened. And after, you know, Disney, Marvel absorbed Fox, and basically that's, you know, and killed the film. Channing Tatum said, he said, I shut off my Marvel machine. I haven't been able to see any of the movies. I love that character. It was just so sad. It was like losing a friend because I was ready to play it. Like he actually was so hurt, like he stopped watching Marvel movies.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like he really wanted to do it. He's been trying to make that happen for so long.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, he got it. He got it. That's all you're getting, Tatum. But you got it.
you got 10 minutes. That's it.
That's
It's
it.
there. Wink, wink.
Whatever. Yeah. What about? Oh yes, so many Easter eggs, so many cameos. You know, the Human Torch. 2022. Evans told Variety he wouldn't be returning to the MCU, and then, you know, Steve Rogers didn't, at least. But then when, you know, we first saw Chris Evans in Deadpool and Wolverine, he kind of flashes a red and white armband. He's kind of suggesting that, you know, he's Captain America. You see the red, white, and blue colors. You see the blue, which is the Fantastic Four suit. You can see under his shirt, but you don't know that yet. It's blue. You see the kind of red and white on his arm, and it kind of, you thinking his cap. And then Deadpool explicitly anticipates the catchphrase "Avengers Assemble," only to hear Evans say "Flame on," and he then, you know, obviously turns into flame, and you know, everything burns away, and you see that it's Johnny Storm, and the crowd, you know, the audience goes nuts. It was one of those parts in the theater where everybody, you know, reacted, and it was a really cool thing. And the Human Torch next, obviously, is going to be portrayed by Stranger Things alum Joseph Quinn, the forget his name in Stranger Things, Eddie. So yeah, I'm not, the Fantastic Four cast looks horrendous.
Yep. Yeah, everything about that movie is just not. As a Fantastic Four fan, I'm not happy at all. I'm just not a happy camper. Like, God, Marvel, even with their Comic-Con news, I'm not a happy camper right now.
Not for that one. Definitely not for that one. Yeah, their Galactus reveal was underwhelming. I'm gonna save this. I'll talk about it in a second. Jennifer Garner suits up as Elektra in 2003. We all saw her in Daredevil, and then 2005 for the movie Elektra. She comes back. She's you know, making little cheeky quips about the death of Daredevil, and you know, she said, "I'm sorry about Daredevil," and but it was cool. And then of course Wesley Snipes pops in. He portrays you know, his you know, claim to fame in Marvel is Blade, and you know, it's a trilogy, so there's 3 movies that he's got under his belt with Marvel already. Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes both were in the 3rd movie together, Blade Trinity, which was, we don't really speak of that. And you know, they famously did not get along really in that movie. They had beef on the set. Ryan Reynolds played Hannibal King, and he said, "My personality is the polar opposite of Wesley. I never met Wesley. I only met Blade, and he is a method actor. Say what you want about the style of acting. I have the utmost respect for whatever it takes to get through this process." It seems that, you know, they've made nice at some point since. And then Blade, he remarked at one point, "There's only one Blade. There's never going to be," or he said, "There's only ever going to be one Blade." So he is, you know,
the way the movie is panning out, yeah, he might be right.
He's probably right.
Yeah, get off the ground, so you know, you might be right.
Right, Mahershala might not ever see that movie. It's and it's sad because that, and I still think Wesley can still play Blade. I think if they redo Blade, they could have Wesley back, but
yeah, I don't know. I think it would just be beating a dead horse as far as Wesley's goes. Like they could just kind of leave that alone. But like I think Mahershala Ali's is fine casting. It's just they can't. The writing again is part of the problem because they can't even get the script. Like they can't even get a viable script. So
Gambit movie. They're having all kinds of problem with directors and scripts, and
Yeah.
they're not being
It's
able
just
to.
not great right now. Goodness gracious. And I think that's supposed to come out, it's either next year or the year after. So it's supposed to be fairly soon. And I really, I don't know if that movie is going to come out. It might be canned, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely having its share of issues. We have hold on, we have oh, Laura Keene, or what's her name? Daphne Keene. She played X-23, played Laura, otherwise known as X-23 Wolverine in Logan. She was 11 years old when she did that, and she's a clone slash daughter of Wolverine, who eventually gave his life for her at the end of the film in the movie Logan. It's not the same story in the comics, but Hugh said we went straight into this pretty intense scene. I know I was freaking out. Oh no, Keene said that about her scene with Hugh. She said as soon as they said rolling, I really felt like we were back doing Logan, and like 8 years hadn't passed. So she's still feeling like they just worked together, yesterday. Deadpool, Lady Deadpool is Blake Lively.
Ah,
Blake
nice.
Lively, who I know from a movie called Savages with Benicio del
Yes, yeah, she was in that. I think The Town, Gossip Girl, and
Right.
of course Ryan Reynolds' lovely wife. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's who that was. And Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Deadpool. A lot of people didn't know that.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Or the Deadpool Kid, as they call him in the comics. But yeah, he's a Western, gunslinging from Earth 1108, and he first made his appearance in the 2010 comic Deadpool Merc with a Mouth #7. So real character. Nathan Fillion, Headpool. So the floating head with the skull with the beanie, that's Headpool, and that's Nathan Fillion, who's the same actor that's going to play Green Lantern, Guy Gardner in the Superman movie.
Okay.
Or that whole DC franchise.
Yes.
There, obviously Ryan Reynolds played himself as Nice Pool, which was hilarious. Nice Pool was great. Free of Deadpool's unseemly scarring and battle hardened attitude. Got a shiny suit, sunny outlook on life with his Mary Poppins dog Pool, who was also a phenomenal actor. Dog Pool is a Chihuahua mixed with a Chinese crested. Was not trained before this to do movies. Never had done a movie. Never was trained before. They trained her like on set to do this movie, which is crazy. That's really usually movies used. They have animal companies that specialize in training animals for movies. I mean they have go-to. But this dog, obviously, with the tongue, which actually was not CGI, was a real fucking tongue.
Yeah, because when they don't have teeth, it just hangs out.
Is that what it is? That why it's?
Yeah, so typically when they don't have enough teeth, their tongue, there's nothing holding it back, so it just hangs out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
My son was like, "Yeah, no, it's a special type of breed, Dad," and I was like, "No, I don't think so." That's something up with that dog. But yeah, the head of security, Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau was there. He did his little head of security shtick for Stark Industries, and close friend to Tony Stark was there, doing his little scene. Cavalrine.
Yeah, that was another thing that I did like as well. That took me by way surprise. I was like, what? So I did appreciate that as well.
I would have really loved to see a Carl Urban Wolverine. That would have really made my
day.
Oh
yes, because that's been fan casted as well. I would have liked to have seen that.
Right, and The Voice is hot right now too, so like it's going on right now. So that would have been cool, but
I bet you schedules just didn't align. I bet you there was a conversation, but yeah.
Had to be. Yeah, had to be. But yeah, Henry Cavill crossing the fence, as it were, to Marvel. Obviously he's well known as doing his Superman character, Man of Steel. He did his post-credit scene in Black Adam. Everybody thought he was coming back, and we all know what happened there.
Lovely.
Hulk versus Wolverine was, you know, they had a scene that I know what happened, but I was a little bit disappointed because I was happy to see the Wolverine version of Wolverine with the brown suit.
Yeah.
But when they were like, didn't you fight Hulk? Well, famously, the first original, you know, obviously appearance of Wolverine is Hulk 180. And then in Hulk 181, he actually fights Hulk and is not wearing the brown suit. Wolverine's first suit was not the brown and yellow suit. It was actually a blue and yellow suit. And it was just like modern suit, but it had a completely different mask, which I have it actually. But oh, might as well grab him and him and him. All of these. A matter of fact, dude, they got nuts. They really went nuts. I just realized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 famous Wolverines that they did, which I really, you know, had a great time. This is the one that originally fights Hulk.
Yeah, it's interesting. They used it in the animated film, but not in the brief scene. I was surprised by that. I don't know why they used the brown one.
Right. Let me put that down right there. So this will help the camera focus. Oh, I can't see the camera. There we go.
Let's see. It hasn't focused just yet.
Not yet. Piece of shit. Come on, dude. There we go. No? Oh, here, let me try.
The camera is not wanting to work with you.
Oh, dude. Sometimes it's the light too. You know what? Let me turn up the light. Let's see if that helped it.
Yeah, that helped. Definitely. Yeah. That definitely helped.
Yeah, so there's his original suit.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I'll be back. I have to go for a meeting, but hopefully if you're still on, then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Peace.
Great to have you. So then there's the blue. They gave us the brown. They gave us the brown suit, and they gave us this one. Super excited to see. Patch is a dope iteration. That was really cool that they did this, guys. They gave us this Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. I was super surprised to see that goofy guy. That was really funny, really cool. And we got this guy was sitting on the porch, pulling out his shotgun, blasting Old Man Logan. So all those Wolverines, very famous, very real characters. While we're at it, here's the original first ever appearance of Deadpool. And here is the new Deadpool figure. That is the Marvel 80th anniversary X-Force original version of Deadpool. I couldn't love it anymore. It is just phenomenally made, beautifully sculpted, great coloring. I love the blue. He's got his katanas on his back, pouches all over the place. Let me get this thing. This is not an unboxing channel, guys, so I don't have like a whole unboxing figure review setup, so I'm doing this just how I'm doing it. But then we've got, and it's funny, that's the brand new Wolverine, or brand new Deadpool, And this one also just dropped. These just came yesterday, and not because I just saw the Wolverine movie and Deadpool movie. It was just a coincidence that my Wolverine figure and my Deadpool figure both came yesterday. This is, so out of all these Wolverines I have like every Marvel Legends Wolverine, they're all the same body sculpt. They changed small features. Maybe the claws are different. The boots might have a different sculpt. They might have a different belt, but it's the same body shape. The head and head fins might even be different, but it's the same body. All the Wolverines, look at that, it's the same body. This guy is the first just Wolverine in a costume that has its own a new mold. So this is the new mold for Marvel Legends Wolverine, and I couldn't be happier. It's really great. Big upper body, you know, legs are proportioned better. You know, the old version was just a little, and it's, you know, modern updating in action figures. The figures are getting better, but this is a cool one. This is the Fantastic Four 2-pack that just came with Spidey. It's like operating in a mirror. Everything's backwards, so it's hard for me to hold this shit. But yeah, lovely. Very cool, very cool. Those are the new joints. Oh, might as well show you this. We didn't show you this last time. The new Doc figure we got. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? The new Doc figure that came out for G.I. Joe, who I took off his chest, his vest, as I said I would, and he looks much better, much more like the real Doc, the original Doc. Then we had accidentally ordered a second one by mistake. So this is going to be real tricky. Let me just take the fucking thing out of his hand here and show you what I did. I got busy. So the new Doc has the Old Man Logan head, and I painted his skin Caucasian and his, you know, his neck and arms, and left the vest on him, and now he is a team, you know, another paramedic in the squad, and somebody that can help carry a stretcher with Doc on the shelf. So very cool. What is that? Yeah, not a big fan of the Doc vest at all. Modules fall out. They don't stick in. They also don't make sense. Why is that there? But anyway, that's the new custom joint. Let me get this light out of my face. Burning up. All right. So we have not yet gotten to the cream of the crop, the icing on the cake, the big story, the big news, because I'm still telling you about the different Easter eggs and cameos in the movie Wolverine and Deadpool. Short variant Wolverine. This was funny. I'll admit, it was hilarious, but I resent it. In Marvel Comics, Wolverine is portrayed as a scrappy, stocky, short Canadian standing at 5'3". So when 6'2" Australian pretty boy Hugh Jackman was originally cast, fans like myself were skeptical, to say the least. He would, you know, that he would do the character justice, that he would really look like the character. I mean, Wolverine is a short, stocky character. It just doesn't work if he's tall and lanky. It's like, what if Superman was short and stocky? How would that look? It wouldn't work. So it's the same thing. I know a lot of people don't understand this. Fans, people that aren't like super fans of Wolverine, do not understand the. And I got friends who are super fans of Hugh Jackman Wolverine. They just do not understand what it is that we're so, you know, we find so off-putting. And it's simple. Imagine your favorite tall 6'2" superhero as a 5'3" stocky little guy. Would you like that? Would that make sense? No. So when you see the stocky 5'3" little juggernaut that he is, as a tall, linky Hollywood type. It's just not the character. So it took a long time for Hugh Jackman to grow on me, which he did. I mean, he is the live action Wolverine, only because we never got one that looks more accurate. So because of this, long standing viewpoint by comic fans and fans of Wolverine that they should do a comic accurate Wolverine, at least cast somebody that looks like the character. And we have all kinds of castings and suggestions, but so to play a joke on us, they took Hugh Jackman and shrunk his body down to like 5 feet tall. Made his legs all tiny, just made him look, and I think they even made his voice high pitched. It was just hilarious. They made him short, and they were making fun of the fact of the comically, short, comic accurate. They called him comic accurate Logan. So it was very, very cool. Patch, who I am a huge fan. He's really a cool iteration of Wolverine, where he's sort of like a I don't know. It's one of his alter egos from his undercover missions in Madripoor, where it's almost like a James Bond maybe type of deal, concealing his identity with an eye patch, right? No worse than Superman concealing his with glasses. So, but yeah, he looks sharp in his white tux, and we see him in a seedy bar. And then there's Forever Dream Wolverine. This was very crazy. Wolverine has many famous comic book covers. One of the most iconic covers shows him tied to a big wooden X, like a crucifix, like he's crucified on a big wooden X on a pile of skulls, during the Fever Dream storyline, the Fever Dream Wolverine. And the Reavers was some evil dudes savagely torture Wolverine and put his healing powers really to the test, and where he's able to mentally overcome the punishment and free himself. But in the movie, they just show him on the and he's like, it was great. It was great. Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. Famous storyline from the comics, Age of Apocalypse. Wolverine's a freedom fighter in an alternate future, ruled over by the supervillain mutant Apocalypse. After being experimented on by Dark Beast, a dark version of Beast, this Wolverine gets nearly impenetrable skin, but one of his hands is lasered off in a fight with Cyclops, and Deadpool meets this violent, super over violent version of Wolverine, who wears his futuristic black and red, bluish, dark blue and red costume from the comics in a bloody alleyway fight. And then you got Hunter B-15, Loki season 1, introduced Wunmi Masaki's Hunter B-15, a TVA agent who ends up helping save the fraying multiverse timelines. She returns near the end of the Deadpool Wolverine to apprehend Mr. Paradox and catches the eye of Rob Delaney's Peter Pool. And so she's back. She's one of the characters from the original Loki show, TVA characters. Sabretooth. We get long hair, fox, but comic accurate Sabretooth. When you see the Sabretooth with the short hair, the Liev Schreiber, it's not very much like the comics. This guy's more like the comics, eyes black, eyebrows longer than his fucking mustache, just overgrown, savage. Sabretooth is Wolverine's arch nemesis, a powerful mutant with an alter ego of Victor Creed. Tyler Mane previously took on the role in 2000's X-Men, as he, very similar powers to Wolverine. Their face-off would be one epic battle, and always is in the comics. Very epic battles. They battle. In this movie, the battle is very short-lived, and I think they did it because if they didn't, the battle never would have ended. They would have just fought on and on and on and on. So they had to comically make it over fast. Otherwise, you can't justify a real fight between the two of them ending quickly. You can't. It would not come across as believable. So that's that. Toad, Ray Park, the guy who plays Darth Maul in the Star Wars movies. Ray Park first portrayed Toad, or Mortimer Toynbee, in 2000's X-Men, during which he and Mystique abducted Senator Kelly. Toad is a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. He has a strong prehensile tongue and enhanced agility, so his tongue can like lash out and you know, it's like a super strong appendage, right? Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Magneto's little crew. You had the Blob. Well, I know the Blob was originally there. He ends up joining, obviously, with Juggernaut and all that. But yeah, the original guys like Pyro, Toad, Pyro. Wait, was Pyro in the original? Y'all want to know? Original Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, you had Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, Toad, and what was his name? He's like Wingard. I think it's Wingard. I think it's your boy from the who ends up being the Hellfire Club, Wingard. But that's the original first cover, Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Yeah, Pyro, Alexander Burton, Pyro. He hops in there. Really cool. Pyro is a great character. His portrayal, the way he kills, or the way he takes, he can't take Johnny Storm's flame. That I don't know what universe that could happen in, but that was interesting. But you know, he said the guy who Aaron Stanford or Alexander Burton rather portrayed Pyro, but Aaron Stanford took on the role for the sequels X2 and X-Men The Last Stand. He said, I think they made reference to Pyro being dead in the movies or something like that, so I got a nod out of it. Stanford told EU of his return as the pyrokinetic mutant. He said, I essentially just assumed that was it. I had done those movies, a lot of time had passed, and they were cherished memories. I didn't believe that Pyro would be making any more appearances. And then they did. Callisto. Callisto is a super fast member of the Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in X-Men The Last Stand. She was there with Cassandra Nova's. We had Alioth, or Alioth. I don't know how you say it. Alioth. Alioth. That's right. Alioth is a gargantuan smoke monster, cloud monster, that lives in the void and consumes all of the variants of the TVA that the TVA throws away. So there's kind of like the trash compactor, or the Roomba of the void. This goes around and sweeps it all up, sucks it all up. Azazel, the all red mutant that looks like the devil, the classic devil, you know, with the pointy tail and all of that. Kind of similar to Nightcrawler, but not blue. He's one of Cassandra Nova's evil forces. Juggernaut. He looked even worse in this than he did in the original movie, and I suspect that was on purpose. I suspect it was on purpose because fans famously hated the way Juggernaut looked in those Fox movies, because he looks nothing like that in the comics, not even remotely similar. No similarity. But yeah, they basically brought him back with the same goofy helmet that looked even worse, was even smaller, even less connected. So that was funny. Lady Deathstrike didn't do shit, but was there. Loved it. Psylocke. What the fuck? How are you gonna have Psylocke and just never really? Well, I mean, she did. Well, she first appeared in a minor role in X-Men: The Last Stand, played by Mei-Ling Melancon, which was phenomenal, but she looked great. Olivia Munn took on the role in X-Men Apocalypse. Terrible movie. Always great to see Psylocke. She looked great. She uses her psychic energy blade in the battle, and she pops up in the fight between Deadpool and Cassandra Nova's forces. not doing much. The Russian was there, the guy with the big stripes. He's a minor villain in the 2004's The Punisher, played by wrestler Kevin Nash. Highly recognizable in his blue and red striped shirt in the Void battle. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's kids, Betty, James, and Inez, best known as muses for Lively's Betsy, Taylor Swift, also made their mark on Deadpool and Wolverine. James is credited as Screaming Mutant. Inez is Kidpool during the fight scene, and Betty is credited as Hugh Jackman's Wrangler. Captain America's shield makes an appearance. Obviously, Tony Stark's arc reactor. Little what do you call it? Easter eggs that they put in the office of Happy Hogan. Happy, you see that arc reactor from Iron Man there, proving Tony Stark's has a heart. Pepper Potts Forbes magazine cover is there. We see the Fantastic car. The Fantastic Four's goofy, looks like a roller coaster car almost. Really funny design from the 60s. The Fantastic car, Fantastic Four's famous flying car, we got to see being commandeered by the henchmen. The Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy is crash landed there in the background. You see, you get to see a Sentinel's foot, where we had some flies off on the foot, like jumps on it like it's a vehicle and takes off on the Sentinel foot. Great. Doctor Strange's cloak is there, bro. Giant Ant-Man corpse is the main fort or base for the Void, the giant Ant-Man thing right there, and the same massive dead body was also in the Old Man Logan comics, so they didn't just make this up for the movie. The location was called Pym Falls, where that's Asgard Castle was in the joint. The Black Order's Q ship, Thanos' Black Order, came down in that wreckage of that was in the Void. You saw the helicarrier, the Shield helicarrier crashed over there. The 20th Century Fox logo obviously is laying in the dirt, half exposed. Spider-Man's thwips. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Spider-Man already crossed into the MCU in No Way Home, which may have given Deadpool the idea to try shooting webs while driving with Wolverine. In the passenger seat, Deadpool does the same thwip motion that Spidey's known for. A little, I guess you can call it Easter egg. The Chitauri Leviathan, that big flying creature that the Hulk famously punched and stopped. Tony Stark's hot rod, the hot rod from where he in his room where he builds his Iron Man suit in the original movies, the hot rod with the black one with the flames on the side. You can see a quick shot of Cassandra Nova's henchman driving that. It's a 1932 Ford Flathead Roadster, which you saw in the first Iron Man movie. Deadpool's chimichanga truck. In the comics, Deadpool has a strange obsession with chimichangas, or at least how the word chimichanga sounds. He oftentimes seen driving a delivery truck, and many chimichanga-themed toys have popped up over the years. One of the trucks can be seen in Cassandra Nova's fleet. And then Liefeld's Just Feet. In the background of one of the shots, or one of the scenes rather, there's a shoe store with the name Liefeld's Feet, or Just Feet, and which is a joke on Rob Liefeld's lack of ability drawing feet. He famously does not draw feet well. He actually leaves feet out of so many pictures that it's noticeable. He'll cut the feet off. He'll draw them like from the knees up. It's funny, and it's just like really obvious. So they make that joke, and Liefeld famously laughed at it, loved it, thought it was hilarious. But that's it right there in the background. You see the sign says Liefeld's up on the top. Liefeld Just Feet, and Deadpool there holding the two golden 50 cal pistoleros. And this is the scene right before he dons the mask and goes full berserker rage, which we saw a few minutes ago on my Instagram page. Sada, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So not much more to say about the movie itself. There's a couple like side things that I found maybe interesting that some people may have a question about, like why was Thor crying over Deadpool? And we saw him crying in what's revealed as TVA footage from the future, a future MCU event, also mirroring Loki's fake death from Thor: The Dark World. But you have Thor like holding Deadpool, crying over his dying body. And the question is like, what the fuck happened? That never paid off. Like I thought we were gonna find out what that was. They kind of just forgot about it. But yeah, one of the most curious moments I think from the movie was the footage that showed him crying over Wade, as seen in the new MCU movie. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is offered the chance to join Earth 616 and the Sacred Timeline, an opportunity for him to become a hero among heroes as one of the Avengers, which he wants to desperately become. And however, there's never a moment where Deadpool and Thor actually meet. So the TVA picks up Wade at the beginning of the movie, and Mr. Paradox offers him a chance to leave his universe behind to join the MCU timeline as a genuine hero. But Deadpool's original universe has been marked for deletion after the loss of its Wolverine, its anchor being. And refusing to offer to try to save his loved ones, Deadpool defies the TVA, though not before seeing footage detailing a major moment between him and Thor, a scene that may be teasing the MCU's exciting future. And you have Thor crying over Deadpool, which again, much like the scene where in Dark World he's holding a dying Loki and crying, but being shown several sequences from the past MCU movies. By the time Variance Authority, Wade is initially very excited about the prospect of being an Avenger, especially after the revelation that he interviewed with Happy Hogan, and was turned down back in 2018. It was like a flashback of him applying to be an Avenger. But Deadpool then sees the footage of himself being held in the arms of Thor and mirroring Loki's fake death again in Dark World. And scrambling to turn off the video feed on the monitor, Mr. Paradox confirms that this scene is actually a moment set in the future that hasn't come to pass yet. It is not from his past. Why he doesn't recognize it. And this simply could have been a funny gag moment, moment that, used this recycled footage from Dark World. And the fact that it's confirmed to be a future event is intriguing. Likewise, it's not something Deadpool is willing to give up. Seeing how he repeatedly questions Paradox about the moment, such as why the God of Thunder was crying over him. So they don't just let it go there. And that's why I thought they were going to, have some, reasoning or whatever. But Wade even wakes up later in the movie saying Thor's name. He does. It's like a returning joke. Every time he wakes up, he's saying something like, something, Mjolnir or something, right? And he, based upon what's known about Marvel's future release plans, the current multiverse saga is confirmed to culminate with the upcoming Avengers 5 in 2026 and 2027's Avengers, with the final movie that's being expected to bring the multiverse to a close in epic fashion. So the multiverse saga is not over until that happens. And you see the great Robert Downey Jr. as great Doctor Doom, and we're going to talk about, some people are not happy about it. I think it's fucking great. But we'll talk about why in a second. The next Avengers movie will likely be a perfect movie for Deadpool to return and perhaps join forces with the Avengers, particularly Thor. Keeping that in mind, the TVA footage could be teasing Thor and Deadpool's future adventures together. It's certainly an exciting prospect, especially with Wade confirming in the movie that Chris Evans isn't his favorite superhero. Actor. Instead, it seems more that likely that Chris Hemsworth Thor is the one who has Deadpool's heart, especially after seeing this future footage from the TVA where he's like holding him in his arms. But that said, the fact that Thor is crying over Deadpool in the footage does not bode well for Wade. Likewise, it's also concerning that Deadpool's mask appears ripped while lying in that same position as Loki was, when it was made to appear as though the God of Mischief had met his end in the Dark World. And to that end, perhaps some villain will finally succeed in killing Deadpool in an upcoming MCU movie, such as Secret Wars, where Deadpool could definitely have, be. Because if you remember Secret Wars, it's a gathering of many characters in the comics. And beyond the Thor Deadpool footage in the TVA, there's other ways in which Deadpool and Wolverine set up this movie. First is an issue of Secret Wars 5 from 2015, a comic book you can see discarded among the relics in the void on the ground. Additionally, Mr. Paradox notes that while Wade might not be an anchor being like Wolverine of Earth 10,005, it seems Deadpool has been chosen for some sort of higher purpose by Paradox's superiors. Unfortunately, Paradox doesn't offer any more details about what Deadpool's higher purpose is in the future, but it was one reason that he was offered an invitation to the Earth 616 and the Sacred Timeline in the first place. And as such, Deadpool's higher purpose will likely become clear in future MCU projects when Wade and most likely Logan inevitably gets pulled into the ongoing crisis of the 616 now that they've successfully saved and stabilized Wade's reality. And that was the whole point of that. And either way, Deadpool and Thor's future moment is more likely, well on the way and will be seen sooner than later. But I think it's a good foreshadowing that Deadpool is going to, be in more movies. And Feige has given us the confirmation that Hugh will be continuing to play Wolverine in the foreseeable future. He will be the only actor that plays Wolverine. As far as they're concerned, they do not have plans to recast Hugh anytime.
So that's terrible.
Yeah,
that is terrible.
I think he was already getting too old. Like this movie, he was really old. Like it I don't want to see him continuing to be Wolverine, but hey.
We're stuck in the past.
Marvel
all right,
we
cool.
are not the minority. That is
all
very
right, cool. This year's Marvel Studios panel at San Diego Comic-Con may not have been overflowing with new reveals and announcements, but there was one huge shocker to cap off the evening. We learned that Avengers 5 has now become Avengers Doomsday. None other than Robert Downey Jr. has been cast as the iconic Marvel villain Dr. Doom, and Marvel fans are still trying to wrap their heads around that announcement. It's a big deal that arguably Marvel's biggest and most important villain is finally going to make his MCU debut. Couldn't be more fucking thrilled. But why is he be playing by Robert Downey Jr. of all people? Is Doom an evil tyrant? Is he an evil variant of Tony Stark? We have a lot of questions. We have to go to the comics, but we have more questions than answers at this point. But it is important to remember one thing. Iron Man and Dr. Doom have a long history together in Marvel's comic universe. So we can only assume that his casting will play on that history in one way or another. And as we grapple with this surprise announcement, let's break down the relationship first between Doom and Iron Man in the comics and how that might play into this admittedly unusual take on Dr. Doom that MCU is doing. But before you just shoot it down, understand what it's for. It's not just a mindless cash grab. It's story-based.
In my opinion.
Dr. Doom will always be defined by his feud with Mr. Fantastic, as the traditional origin story goes. Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom were college roommates and intellectual rivals pretty much, at the very beginning. Victor was obsessed with building a machine that would allow him to communicate with his dead mother. Reed warned his frenemy that the machine was dangerous, but, the arrogant Victor didn't listen. That stubbornness wound up blowing up his face, literally. And when the machine exploded and scarred his previously handsome mug, the one soul-searching journey around the world later, Victor Von Doom was reborn as Dr. Doom. Mr. Fantastic was certainly, has remained Dr. Doom's arch enemy over the years, but the Latvian monarch has hold on, let me get a picture for y'all. Has tussled with Iron Man a few times famously, and their rivalry took shape in 1981 storyline called Doom Quest. Okay, where both Tony and Doom are dragged back in time to the court of King Arthur, right? Camelot. And Doom attempts to forge an alliance with Morgan Le Fay, right? But they're no match for the combined might of Iron Man and King Arthur's knights But Doom and Iron Man had another major villain or major face-off in 2007's Mighty Avengers, which is set in the aftermath of Civil War crossover and Tony Stark's promotion to director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, after Doom is implicated in an attack on New York City, Iron Man leads the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. in an all-out invasion of Doom's kingdom of Latveria. Though Doom was actually responsible for the attack, he winds up in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody. Basically, as one of the only people on the planet smart enough to rival Victor Von Doom himself, Tony was always going to wind up on Doom's shit list. And it's the same reason that Doom and T'Challa have always had such a love-hate relationship. It doesn't help that Tony is purely a man of science, whereas Doom is all too happy to tap into the power of the supernatural. He's very much as much a wizard, a magic user as he is a mad scientist. He's in his never-ending quest for more power. He doesn't care how he comes of it. That's why he's such a fucking great villain. That's why he's such an amazing character for movies. And to be an overarching character for the big bad, because he pulls strings. He's a puppeteer. His constant quest for power is relentless. He'll do anything. He does anything. He does everything. And the conflict between technology and magic is a phenomenal thing to do cinematically. And it's also what made the Mandarin such an enduring Iron Man foe, because he's a magic user in a technological storyline. But their relationship hasn't always been purely antagonistic, right? Following the events of the 2015 Secret Wars, the second Secret Wars, which ends with Dr. Doom being redeemed and getting his old face back, Doom turns over a new leaf. He becomes a supporting character in 2015's Invincible Iron Man, insisting on lending a helping hand despite Tony refusing to believe that the former Doom is on the level. Like, he just does not buy it. He thinks that he's, it's a ploy, right? And Doom even becomes the new Iron Man for a time. After Tony's left comatose, after the events of 2016 Civil War II. And that's the premise of a series called Infamous Iron Man. All right. As Doom, forges his own Iron Man suit and attempts to carry on Tony's heroic legacy. And Doom even defends Stark Industries from an attack by the Hood and his minions, but at the cost of his, recently healed face. So he's fucked up again. And there are versions of Dr. Doom in the Marvel Multiverse who actually are Tony Stark, actually are Stark. And it's worth pointing out that there are versions of Dr. Doom in the Marvel Universe who actually, are not Victor, right? They're Tony. And one of these is Iron Maniac, right? He's a version of Tony Stark introduced in 2004's Marvel Team Up #3. And another is featured in 2010's What If, Iron Man Demon in an Armor #1. And in this world, we had Victor Von Doom swapping bodies with Tony Stark in college, and then he was trapped in his rival's body until and Tony swears revenge and begins a years-long quest to destroy Doom's Stark Universal Company. Now, how can Robert Downey Jr. be playing Dr. Doom? At this point, we've established that Dr. Doom and Iron Man have a long shared history in the comics. But that still doesn't answer the basic question: why is Downey, of all people, playing Dr. Doom? And why cast the actor who made Iron Man a household name as a completely different Marvel character? It seems nuts. One possibility is that Downey is simply playing a new MCU role, independent of any connection to Tony Stark. He has those chops. He can disappear. Now, don't forget that Doom is he's well known for never taking off his mask. If he's Doom, you're never going to see his face. Now, whether because he can't simply or won't, because of part of his mystique, that will be left up how they write the movie. He will either be so horribly disfigured or wearing a metal mask, you won't see his face. And all he has to do is change his voice to Latverian, which is a fictional country, by the way, that Doom is from. Depending on how over the top Downey's performance is, and there's plenty of room to go big with a character like Doom. And Downey is an actor who can go big and go bananas and do outlandish shit. The guy wore fucking blackface and it was embraced. All right. The movies may simply be able to ignore the fact that the guy underneath Doom's armor looks and sounds an awful lot like Tony Stark. There may be a plot reason where they add that in. But if Downey has proved anything with his performances in 1992's Chaplin, right? Don't Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies. I mean, you can tell that this guy can transform with an accent. Sound British people said he sounded fucking. They couldn't tell that he was using an accent. It was the best accent they had ever heard. So he's a master at accents and sounding however he wants to sound. He's a fucking master at that. And it's not as if Downey would be the first MCU actor to play a different character. Case in point, Chris Evans. But it's not,
It's very different. Very different.
It may be, but Michelle Yeoh played Alito Algorn in Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Ying Nan and Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. David Dashmacklin played Kurt Gorister in the first two Ant-Man movies and pivoted to playing Veb in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Gemma Chan played Minerva in Captain Marvel and Cersei in the Eternals. And there is a precedent for this king, this kind of double casting. It happens. And that said, it's hard to imagine that Marvel just decided to cast Downey again without intending to reference his history as Tony Stark. Another option is that Doom has been reimagined as a variant of Tony Stark, as we know has happened in comics. We know that the newly retitled Fantastic Four First Steps is set in an alternate universe, right? A retro futuristic version of New York City from a 60s / retro sci-fi thing. And perhaps in that universe, Tony Stark is the one who rooms with Reed Richards in college, and they develop that unhealthy obsession, with besting their rivals. And just like in the comics, they switch places. Tony may undergo some twisted inversion of the origin story seen in 2008's Iron Man, which leaves him disfigured and retreating inside a powerful suit of armor to plot against, the Richards family. Doom may not be the primary antagonist in the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. That would be Ralph Ineson's Galactus, which we'll show in a second. But we have to imagine that he'll appear in the movie in some capacity. He's fucking Doom. He's got to be referenced at least. Now, ideally, the Fantastic Four movie will provide Downey's new character with an origin story prior to him taking center stage in Avengers Doomsday. So they'll explain it. And we also know that Fantastic Four are eventually making the jump to the MCU, as they're now confirmed to be, appearing in both Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. And it's probably safe to assume that Doom will make the journey with them, right? Making Doom a refugee from another world who would also help explain why the character has yet to appear in any previous MCU project. Now, like with the Fantastic Four, the MCU has no Doctor Doom of its own, right? So the Fantastic Four First Steps can change that. Now, whether Downey's Doom is Victor Von Doom or Tony Stark as Doom, it may not matter much in the end. What if it's Tony Stark who died in Endgame and can't? Dude, they can do a lot. Now he combines, he hides from the world inside this armored suit. I'm hoping that he's not Tony Stark or not related to Tony. I'm hoping that we get to see Robert Downey doing his fucking acting chops behind a mask, behind makeup, doing his voice thing and fucking killing it. Now, he combines the most advanced technology in that his mind can conjure and the darkest spells that the supernatural realm has to offer to make himself a god, a living god among men. And he's a twisted inversion of everything that Iron Man stands for. Where Iron Man was the savior of the MCU, Doom is its greatest nightmare. And that's why you cast Robert Downey as Dr. Doom. It's a chance for the MCU's most... That's fine. We can disagree, but he's going to be wearing a mask. I'm telling you why I think that, what I think. Why do you think what you think? I heard you. Reason I think what I think is because he'll be wearing a mask and he's a fucking phenomenal actor, and I don't see it being a problem. In fact, I think it's going to be pretty fucking cool, but we'll see. Now, Avengers The Kang Dynasty has been retitled with a full tilt pivot. Now, the Avengers films will be now called Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and they will both be directed by the Russo brothers. Now, directors Joe and Anthony Russo, who helmed 4 movies already in the MCU, Avengers Endgame, are uniting now with Marvel Studios once again to helm this next superhero team-up feature. They're basically going back to what works. And on a Saturday evening, they made their return official by taking the stage at the Comic-Con in Hall H to thunderous applause. And when he said, when we directed Avengers Endgame, we really believed it was the end for us in the MCU. He said, now that 4 movie run was incredible and it left us creatively spent. However, in this time since, the duo has found a very special story, they said, and it convinced them to come back. In fact, it's the biggest story that Marvel Comics ever told. It's the reason that Anthony and I are standing up here, and the film is Avengers: Secret Wars. Hang on, what happened? And but to build towards the epic battle that is Secret Wars, the story would need some kind of instrumental character that is required to do Secret Wars justice. So enter Victor Von Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., the man who put the MCU on the map in his devilish turn as Iron Man / Tony Stark. The first film is titled Avengers Doomsday and will premiere in May 2026, with Avengers Secret Wars following in May 2027. Now, the Russo brothers' independent studio, AGBO, is co-producing the film in a rare partnership with Marvel. Stephen McFeely, who co-wrote all 4 of the Russo brothers' Marvel films, including Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War. I mean, they're going with the recipe that is guaranteed success, and is taking over script duties both on Doomsday and Secret Wars. So he takes over from Michael Waldron, and who was tasked to writing the script to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So they've actually thought about, this is how our movies have been going. This is the woke MCU nonsense bullshit that we've been spewing, and it's not going over well. So we're not going to go with that writer anymore. We're going to go with the Russo brothers. We're going to go with the guy that wrote Civil War and Winter Soldier and Infinity War and all that shit. And we're going to go with the Russo brothers now stepping in for Destin Daniel Cretton, who left the Kang Dynasty in November to focus on other Marvel projects on his docket, including a prospective sequel to his film Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. So he'll be doing that. And now, after the Avengers movies, which both earned more than $2 billion at the box office, the Russo brothers left Marvel to direct Cherry, a gritty crime drama with Tom Holland. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was fucking crazy. And then Netflix's The Gray Man. So that was a Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans action thriller. And then they've got another upcoming thing called Electric State, what I haven't seen yet. But a lot of the observers on the scene felt that the decision to retitle the Kang Dynasty was obviously inevitable after Jonathan Majors, the actor who have been playing the titular, Marvel supervillain Kang for 2 years, was convicted in December of like, what was it, misdemeanor harassment or something, misdemeanor assault and harassment, and his now ex-girlfriend. And the studio parted ways with the actor less than 2 months after the verdict was announced, and capping the nearly a year of uncertainty about Major's future with Marvel following his arrest in March. So it's, if there's been any speculation, it is now over. But the studio had remained quiet about whether, losing Majors also meant saying goodbye to the character. A lot of people were wondering, are we going to just do another Kang? Are we going to have another Kang variant? Any actor could play it? It's a variant, right? So, a lot of people thought that bullshit might have happened, and thank God that's not what's happening. I mean, I don't know how many times we've all sat on this show and fucking, just wished vocally for Doom to come and be the overarching villain, and they've actually made that decision. So that's that. I'm super happy about it. The casting, it is crazy. It's questionable. I admit it, but I'm not fucking worried in the slightest. And more importantly, audiences, haven't exactly embraced Kang as a character, or the multiverse as a storytelling engine. A lot of people don't like the multiverse shit. It is a really cheap way to do anything you want and not have to follow any plot rules and just kind of change shit as you want and as you go. But thank God they had that tool during this time, because they can change what they've been doing, which has not been fucking working.
Yet we're in another multiverse type of movie,
right?
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. They're using that. That's what I'm saying. It's good that they have that multiverse type of movie to make, so that they can so they don't have to stick with the bullshit, so that they can change it and it will make sense. So that is what I'm saying.
Doesn't make sense.
It's beneficial.
Don't make no damn sense.
Yeah, it's beneficial that they have that plot device because of the woke nonsense, the garbage plots, the shitty writing, the crappy movies, the terrible actors, the nonsense stories, the characters no one cares about that they've been doing since Endgame. So this is just a way for them to, it's a tool for them to use. And I'm just saying that it's a good thing they fucking have it, because if they didn't have that tool, you know, they'd either be stuck continuing the nonsense, or they just have to shut it all down and do a complete, you know, DC move and just reboot everything.
That's what they should
Which
do.
might have been the best thing to do, but it's not what they did.
I know.
It's not what we got.
Like, even outside of this whole thing,
We gotta,
like, okay, we have the 2 Avengers films, Russo brothers. Okay, sure, writing wise, maybe that's in the back. We have movies before them. So what about those? Because this does not fix the issue of the writers. What about the writers for Cap 4 that's coming out? What about Thunderbolts? What about, because all that, I don't think that's going to pan out well, because they have not fixed the problem of getting better writers. This is only putting a Band-Aid on it and saying, hey, here you go. But we have movies before.
Well, they're going back to the writers from, they're going back to the writers from the Cap days, you know, the.
Are they going to get the Russo brothers for every film before this one? I don't think so. So that's what I'm saying. Like, everything's up to question. I don't trust.
Yeah, the bullshit. Yeah, anybody that thinks that the MCU is saved or it's just back and everything is, no, you're not paying attention. Yeah, that's not the case. Definitely not. These are just 2 movies out of a bunch of bullshit that, you know. Yeah, I think Thunderbolts is. If it's good, I'll be wildly surprised. The Captain America movie, I was just happy that I heard him yell Isaiah. So Isaiah Bradley's in the motherfucker. That'll be enough for me. If I see Isaiah Bradley run through and rampage some shit, I'm happy. It's a good movie. Fuck it. But you know, obviously people want, you know, have a lot more invested. You know, Harrison Ford playing the character Thunderbolt Ross. You know, he shaved his mustache, and that's the explanation for why he looks different. Hilarious.
Isn't it crazy how they could recast him within months of the actor dying, but they couldn't do that for Black Panther? Wink, wink. Love that. Yeah, great decision making. Woo, no T'Challa. Woo.
Why?
Hey, they wanted to replace him with a woman anyway.
A great Black Panther.
Oh,
he pulls out his stick from Tropic
Thunder. Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
Why not Robert Downey Jr. for Black Panther? I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's get it.
Hugh Jackman as Magneto right now.
Word off the top.
He can do it. But Downey became one of the biggest movie stars in the world after launching the MCU with Iron Man, and you know, his work helped propel the MCU to become the highest grossing film franchise of all time, and he was handsomely rewarded, earning $50 million paydays in the process. I've heard that he was like him demanding you know, a lot of money was a problem for the studio and all that. Dude, they got way more money than they need. He just was getting what he was worth. That's what he's done for the franchise. He earned it.
Paid $100 million for this movie, and this is gonna be on screen. I guarantee. If I'm wrong, clip it right now for 2 years from now. That man's face is gonna be on screen.
Now,
more
do you
than
think he
40%
said
of the film? I guarantee it.
Do you think he said? Do you think he said new mask, same cast, or new mask, same task?
And how many times did we see his face while he was in the mask when they did that POV shot? How many times did we see that? That man is paying for his likeness. He's asking to be paid for his likeness as any actor at that stage in the game. Let's be very clear. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
That man's face is gonna be on screen for more than 40%. I'm calling it right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm
okay.
Right now.
That's about. I mean, that's yeah. I'll make that bet with you. I'll make that bet with you. I think that he's gonna be wearing a mask.
Even what you call it that played Hawkeye. Hawkeye has a fucking mask.
Yeah, you don't see that. You don't see that shit nowhere.
Yeah, dog. I hate when they don't. That's why I love this scene in fucking Wolverine and Deadpool. That shit just made my whole year, bro. Seeing Wolverine with that mask on, shredding through the ops was just everything, bro. That shit. I literally asked my son. He was sitting next to me. He looked over me. He said, "Dad, are you crying?" It's like that. Like I was tearing up in that mother. I was like, "Oh, finally! Oh God!" Check it out.
As proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play.
Some guy said Robert Jr.
Oh Lord.
Robert Downey Jr. Watch.
I think it had been rumored for a while.
He's going Robert Downey Jr. Watch.
Came out. Yeah,
They did it
I
because
think
he was
did.
Robert Downey Jr. I would have been in the front row. Boo!
Thumbs down!
Boo that man! Straight up. Boo that man!
I bet you when the poster comes out for this movie, that's still
the only one
like this. That's gonna be on the poster with his face out. I dare that right there. That's gonna be on the poster.
Yeah.
Something in that variation.
I don't think so.
I
think we're gonna
I would have
see.
been like, boo that man straight up. Straight up. You betrayed me. I'll go all out. You betrayed the fans. Boo.
Okay, yeah.
The fans would be like, hey, what are you saying?
Like, you betrayed us. You died. And now you're
moments earlier.
Villain.
Moments earlier from that scene, the Russo brothers were introduced as the directors of these films, and which they will also produce and direct.
Homies too.
Yeah, and Anthony Russo said that 4-movie run was incredible. After a montage of their film sizzled on screen, he said, and it left us really spent with all of our emotions on the floor. In the time since, though, a very special story. Joe and I have come to potentially see a road forward with all of you. Russo picked up where his brother left off, saying, it's the biggest story that Marvel Comics ever told. It's the first comic book run that I read as a kid and made me fall in love with comics. It's the reason why Ant and I are standing up here. And I think you and all the know that what I think you all know the name of it. Secret Avengers Wars title flashed on the screen. Stephen McFeely is the guy who co-wrote the Russo brothers Marvel movies with Christopher Marcus, and they will write the new Avengers movies. So the Russo has paired, have long maintained that the Secret Wars, which was the title of a pair of 1980s event comics for Marvel, was their dream project. So in Secret Wars, an all-powerful being known as the Beyonder transported Marvel heroes and villains to a planet called Battle World, where they were forced to fight. And the news definitely marks creative makeover for the newly titled Avengers Doomsday, which will come before Secret Wars and serve as Avengers 5. Now, Feige announced that a different Avengers 5 2 years ago in Hall H as Avengers Kang Dynasty. The film would have starred Jonathan Majors, would have been written by one of the writers who've been writing the shit that we've been getting. That whole team, that crew, those people, they were going to do that movie. And amid backlash, Bob Iger saying, we got to go back to what works, and you got to stop doing these characters no one cares about. Shit like that in the audience. The people just crying out for something to change. Deadpool and Wolverine shows us they've been listening. They say it in the fucking movie. And this move does come amid the record-setting opening weekend for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is easily lands in the top opening of all time for a rated R feature. Not a rated R fucking superhero movie, a rated R movie, period, which has injected renewed sense of energy into the MCU and proven that comic book movies should be rated R. The Russo brothers return as notable, and they had a record-breaking run, obviously, Avengers Endgame, all of that shit, which for a time topped Avatar as the biggest movie of all time. And they also did the Captain America, Winter Soldiers, and the Civil Wars, and Avengers Infinity War. And in the years since, they've done some other stuff, outside of Marvel. But, I'm excited to see what they do. It obviously is a mixed bag, and people have mixed emotions, mixed feelings about it. But I think we can all agree that Fantastic Four looks like doo-doo.
I think we can start to agree there.
They revealed the title. Yeah, even the title sucks.
I hate the title, dude. I hate it. I don't like it. Yeah.
Not happy. The cast does not look like they don't fit the characters. None of it looks good. I do love the idea of doing it in a postmodern 60s era, right?
Yeah,
like
that's interesting. I like that.
Absolutely. They showed Galactus apparently at the Comic-Con. I didn't see this footage. Has anyone seen it? Is it on
No,
yeah.
I know there was like some test footage that was, I guess, shown there, and they had like screen caps that I saw. Didn't
They
look great.
basically
But...
showed his eye
Oh
looking in
yeah,
a
no,
building.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, he shows it's just his eyeball looking in a building, which, you know, I've heard people immediately say, well, he's not big enough. If he can peer into the eye, if he's on a, you know, looking in a building, he's not big enough to be outside floating around eating planets. But you forget Galactus does walk around on Earth, and he does not eat planets like an apple. He consumes the energy with a machine that he has, and he sucks the energy and the life out of it and absorbs it. He doesn't like eat it like a food.
I think
So
they forget he can like bend his legs and squat down. Like I think they forget he can bend his legs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He is basically a humanoid, you know. But that's the thing. That's how, you know, that's the thing. He's basically a guy in a suit. He's not a monster. He doesn't look crazy. So, you know, the cloud monster that we got in the first, you know, Fantastic Four Silver Surfer was a absolute joke, absolute travesty. Just really, I was just waiting for his face to pop out of those clouds, and it never fucking popped out. That shit pissed me off. But you know, all we need, and then the guy they have playing him, phenomenal vocalist. He's done he's in Game of Thrones. I'm trying to think of some other shit he's in, but he's in Game of Thrones. I mean, he's got this super baritone fucking voice. I mean, he'll sound great.
Like it could work. Maybe.
Yeah, he's what's his name? His name
is Robert Downey Jr.
No, it's not. It is not Robert Downey Jr. It is
He
not.
should have played him.
It is not him.
like
John Byrne. No, is it John? No, John Byrne and Jack Kirby made the character. Hold on. Shackman? No, fuck this. No, fuck that. I'm looking at it.
He should have played Galactus. We wouldn't never had to see his face.
If they just
Galactus's face is showing.
Yeah, they'll just superimpose the
Ralph Ineson. My God.
Oh,
his name is Ralph Ineson. Yes.
Yeah, Ralph.
So yeah, if you know who that is.
Yeah,
you know who that is, Sada?
No, I don't. I'm about to learn right now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah. You know him. He's an English actor and narrator. He's known for narrating. He like uses his voice. He's like a vocalist. His voice is super deep and shit. But yeah, he's in The Witch. He was in Game of Thrones. He's in Harry Potter, Chernobyl, The Green Knight, Final Fantasy 15.
There's a lot of game voices.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
yes.
that.
Games, video, voice work. His voice work, he did TV programs where he does narration, licensed to Drill Savage Hunters on Discovery Channel. Sky TV series Inside Gatwick on the BBC, Claimed and Shamed, just some kind of reality shit. Channel 4 series Skint, which followed the lives of British families from underprivileged backgrounds. Mostly stuff in Britain, mostly BBC stuff, but he did video games, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 15. So he's got a huge film resume, yeah. But he'll be a good Galactus, definitely.
A sea of mess. Ooh,
that's what I mean. Grabbing fresh energy is always good.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that. I just can't get behind like the main Fantastic Four cast. It just feels like stunts and shows. Like we have Pedro Pascal, that doesn't even
he's hot right now.
Yeah, you know, just a way to get butts in the seats. But like I don't really
honestly, the guy playing the Thing is actually a decent casting. That's the only one that I can get kind of behind because he will be interesting as a.
I remember liking that. Let me see.
He's okay. I mean, you know, he's not gonna. He's gonna be the Thing, you know.
Right.
So.
Right, and he's funny. I mean, he's a humorous dude. I like his sense of humor. He's in the. You ever seen that show, The Bear?
Yeah.
He's the star of that. Well, he's the co-star of that.
He was in Shameless. Yeah, from Shameless.
Not the kid from Shameless. Not Lip. his co-star, the guy with the shaved head, the taller guy, his tall buddy, the guy
Oh,
from
yeah,
the bear.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
you know,
what you're talking
his
about.
his friend, his like the main, yeah. He's got a kind of a snarky sense of humor, kind of dry, funny humor, very like a dark humor. He's funny, but
Yeah. Like
he can he's in Punisher. He's in the Punisher. He's the guy in the chair. He's John Barenthal's guy in the chair in the Punisher movie. You know, the guy with his friend, the guy that fucking helped him. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of his fucking name. The Punisher show with John Barenthal. Yeah, he's in that. But he's funny. But he's got a dark sense of humor. He's got a depressing demeanor. He'll because you know the thing is a depressed dude. He's depressed. He looks like shit, literally.
He'll be so good.
My son was I don't know 3. He had an action figure of the thing, and he would call him Doodoo Man.
Oh,
Because in his mind, he just looked like Doodoo.
That's not great.
And I was like, "Oh no, buddy, that's not Doodoo Man."
No. Oh, you know, if he watched the Fant Four Stick film and still felt like that, I would understand. I
Yeah. But the movie, there's not a lot known about what it's going to be about. It likely, will be in an alternate reality type setting, obviously century inspired promo art, kind of that Jetsons, like the Jetsons kind of a deal, 1960s, what they thought the future would be like in the 50s kind of thing. And it's very different than anything so far, but that part of it sounds cool. The guy who the Helmer, Matt Shakeman, the guy who's kind of running the thing, he said, I wish I could be specific. I wish I could say more. But we are doing things in a very differently from a story standpoint, from an approach to the filmmaking standpoint. That reality, or he said, that really fits the material. I wish I could say more. I would love to, but I can't. But I think it's going to be unlike anything you've seen before, and certainly unlike anything Marvel that you've seen before. I'm sure it will. He said we have been nonstop. Talking about the pre-production, he said, despite the strikes, yes, we've been working with the effects and the production design and building our world, and that's been incredibly exciting. You know how to translate those skills into live action dynamic ways, because some things that work beautifully in John Byrne and Jack Kirby are a little tougher when you're filming them. How do you make sure things are exciting but also grounded in a scientific thing, which is also part of the Fantastic Four that I love, and there's some stuff that I'm super excited about. I can't say too much. They should have Jonathan Hickman fucking do this, man.
The royalties they have to pay him, they'll never have him anywhere near this at all.
Yeah, I mean, his Fantastic Four run is the only Fantastic Four run that I ever would read. That I like. It's not fucking cheesy. It's not corny. It's fucking good, dude. It's so good. Franklin Richards, fucking creating a fucking universe in his bedroom under his blanket.
See, I feel like with the title, I feel like they're hinting at Franklin Richards, first steps, baby. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me being delusional, but I feel like they're hinting at that, and it's damn, we're gonna have Franklin, Galactus, Silver Surfer in one. It's just okay, we're throwing
and
all
a female
the cards out. Yeah,
and a female Silver Surfer, wow.
All the cards out. Good.
It seemed like they want to do the Universe X.
What I would like to see, yes, the Earth X thing, Universe X, yeah. At the very end of the movie, Franklin Richards hasn't done shit. He's a baby, he gets born at the end. Very end of the movie, we think it's over, the credits roll, and then we slowly pan in to a dark bedroom, and we can see a kid sitting on the bed with the blanket over his head and the flashlight in there, like you see in a lot of movies, right? And you zoom in and you go in, but it's not a flashlight, it's a fucking galaxy that he's created in his, between his hands, and that's the end. And then so the sequel, we get into Franklin Richards because it's too much. It's too much.
I know it's just.
And then you have Reed Richards as Doom.
Yeah, I mean,
yo, that'd be sick.
I want to see Reed being problematic. That's what I want.
I want
to see Reed problematic. I want to not root for him because he's canonically an asshat. I just feel like I want to see that a little bit. Just a little more.
Pedro is Reed Richards. We've got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. Joseph Quinn is the Johnny Storm Human Torch guy. Ralph Ineson is Galactus. Julia Garner as Shalabal. And Paul Walter Hauser, Natasha Leone, and John Malkovich in unknown roles. So we have the cast for this female Silver Surfer, but we do not have a male Silver Surfer cast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They might. I'm telling you right now, if they use this as a means to not have Norm Rad exist, I promise you, they'll never hear the end from me. I will be screaming. But like, they might pull it's it's not the main universe. And
Shalabal's only fucking Silver Surfer because of Norm Rad.
I know, but this always happens. It's like I don't understand like why we're doing this.
I mean, this is where using the multiverse goes wrong.
No, but this is where it goes right, because now they can change that bullshit, because now that they're pivoting the success of Wolverine, the news of the Russo brothers coming back, and that pivot, maybe now they'll change this. Maybe they're not gonna just do onlys. Maybe they'll be like, okay, let's fucking rethink that, because how fucking they'll riot in the streets. Are you kidding me? No fucking Norm Rad, and you have Shalabal. Get the fuck out of here. It's his wife. So together they're the twin Silver Surfers. There's no fucking story, no point where it's just she's the Silver Surfer. That's not a thing.
They're gonna have Norm Rad in there by name. That man is never touching a board in his life. And if that happens,
just a guy like will just be the husband of her, and
just be the husband.
A lame ass.
Or she's the one that teaches him how to be a Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Then we have Secret Wars, and then he steps on the board for the first time. It's like, wow, it's just like you thought, honey. It's like,
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Niche.
I would hope that's not the case, but it's like I just don't know why this decision was made. It's very bizarre. And I feel bad for the actress, because like they knew what the reaction was going to be. There's no way they didn't. Like
same thing with the Downey thing, the reaction. But then after you get over the excitement, then you got to really get into the nitty gritty of it. How is this going to impact everything else? And is this a proper move as time goes on? And then you look back at your collection of movies and you're like, hold up.
We'll see. But the final page, I'm really happy about the Galactus thing. Finally seeing Galactus, finally having Galactus. Here's the thing. The Eternals movie, I couldn't even finish it. But the fact that they have the Celestial was so cool, and that was really dope. So I feel like it's going to be one of those where it's like a movie that's whack, but we got Galactus, and maybe that'll be cool. And then maybe the pivot does take hold. Maybe there really is a pivot. Maybe we're not imagining it. Maybe it's real, and maybe they do change their original idea to go with a certain plot, and maybe they do come back and give us something good. I mean, the final page of 1966 is Fantastic Four number 48, The Coming of Galactus. Reveals the giant-sized Galactus, a planet-consuming devourer of worlds, whose arrival to Earth was heralded by his cosmic scout, the Silver Surfer. I mean, who thinks of this shit? Jack Kirby and fucking that's who. But towering before the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Girl, Human Torch, and the Thing, the extraterrestrial eater of worlds declared their planet would sustain him as he drained it of all elemental life with the words, "So speaks Galactus."
You know what would be? No, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You know what would have been dope if they were really thinking was do a movie called Jack Kirby as a child, thinking of these heroes, creating the world like he's the one who, like he's Franklin Richards or some shit like that, where he's creating the world with these heroes and they're actually real in his, you know what I'm saying? There's
a comic. I can't think of the name. There's a comic, a phenomenal story where there's a kid and it's supposed to be taking place in like our world in real life, and all the imagining of all these characters like made them real or something. I forget, dog.
That would be kind of sick. That'd be a good way to honor
It's so
him.
dope, dude. Yeah, and it would be a great way to insert him into that storyline. And there's a great fucking villain in that storyline. What's his name? it's like he's like the ultimate death or something. He can just erase fucking existence.
Oh my lord.
But anyway, that'd be a dope ass idea. And it would be something that's like a step away from the superhero movies that they can still do. Marvel can still do a movie, and it's not necessarily like a superhero movie. It's like maybe a biography, and that'd be fucking sick.
They are
With some, with some real shit, like maybe a PG-13 kids friendly family movie where there's like, creatures and shit. Yeah.
But they are jam packed next year. I'm a little worried. Like this, if Blade comes out next year, I mean it's supposed to, but who knows at this point. But like that would mean it's like 4 movies and however many shows they're gonna have in a year, and that's like crazy to me. And like Fantastic Four is supposed to come out in July, which is, I mean, it's kind of soon. So I don't know. It's just everything's really soon. So I'm like.
They're trying to make up for the lost money, the lost revenue, and the negative press, and the indecision-making skills of their leaders, the indecisiveness. I mean, but I mean, they did it once before, so they're trying to replicate that. Hit everybody with everything at once. Try to make it so heavy to where they can't see the imperfections,
which they know people hate. I mean, that's the whole fucking problem. There's the Fantastic Four retro.
That's the Fantastic Four. That joint looked nice.
The car.
I like
really
that.
Cool idea. Yeah, a retro kind of world in the background.
Speaking of, they had that in the film. Why am I blanking? Deadpool Wolverine. They have that in that movie, which is cool. Oh my god, is that a spoiler? Or okay,
no.
Deadpool Wolverine. But yeah, they have that in that movie. So that was interesting to see. I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, I like that Fantastic Four.
I mean, Feige confirmed in June that it would be a period piece and potentially set in an alternate universe. And then the Hall H panel further confirmed that whatever universe it is, first is Fantastic Four First Steps will be set in the 1960s. He said the 60s to me is all about optimism, said Shakeman, while the cast stressed the family atmosphere of making a movie about Marvel Comics' so-called first family. The Hall H audience was treated to the sight of an inflatable replica of the Fantasticar, which is in a clip of Reed Richards in a video for the Future Foundation, a Reed Richards founded think tank of superhero futurists that is often woven through Fantastic Four stories. The clip concluded with Galactus, Devourer of Worlds, peeping through the window of the Baxter Building, the Fantastic Four's headquarters. I haven't yet to find like anybody post a picture of that or a video of that. Like I haven't seen the eye yet, but
I don't know. I've only seen the little test shots of like they're in like a classroom or something, and then Reed is standing at the front, and I don't even know why I'm saying Reed because it literally just looks like Pedro Pascal, but I mean it is him, but like it just I don't get Reed, but like he's standing and he has the glasses and everything. That's the only footage that I've seen, so I'm interested to see this eye whenever that decides to circulate.
Definitely. But yeah, y'all, that's kind of that. We got to kind of call it a night. It's about to be 8:30. But yeah, y'all, thank you for coming on, Sada. It's been great to have you back.
Bird up.
Stop by.
Love to have you back again. Yeah, y'all. So it's not our normal show Sunday night, but we'll be back Wednesday and then again Saturday. So every Saturday and Wednesday, 6:30, come back and check us out. Hit up that like button, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We always chop it up and have fun. So we'll see you guys, man. Be safe. Love each other. Peace.
Bye-bye.